sightseeing takes us to the left-hand side. We're going to join this busy road here called Strand. 8-mile stretch of road which links all of the docks in Liverpool together. Now the most famous of these docks is the Albert Dock. There it is on the left-hand side. You can see that big brick warehouse. Now that is the most fireproof dock in the world. In 1856, today, you'll find a whole host of shops, restaurants, cafes and museums inside there. In fact, the most important thing about the Albert Dock for me is if you look over to your left, can you see where the carousel is spinning around? The building behind the carousel, can you see the building with the 4 red pillars and the triangular pediment on the top? Inside that building in 1988, 2 of the greatest minds in all of British history started something. It was in that very building that Richard and Judy first broadcast This Morning, and they continued to do so until 2004, which is when they relocated down to London. Now, you'll also be able to notice as well the pump house, which is just to the right of the carousel. Today it's a pub, you see with the big chimney, but the pump house was home to a hydraulic lift, so it would essentially be called the pump house because it would pump water either in or out of the docks to higher or lower the levels to bring in the various ships into the Albert Dock in Salthouse, Scotland on here as well. We can look further down this street. Here on the left-hand side when these lights change, we're going to follow the road over to your left-hand side. As we turn to the left, directly in front of us, you will be seeing the most photographed statue in all of Europe. We estimate, during British summertime, there are 12,000 daily visitors to this statue. So it has to be something very exciting and something very prominent. Have a little bit of a think, and all should be revealed as we turn this corner. So here we go, and yes, you can see, even though it's a bit of a drizzly Monday morning, there's a crowd of people gathered around having their photographs taken with the statue. And for good cause, that is because it is the statue of the greatest band of all time. There they are in all their glory, Black Sabbath. Yes, of course, I read Black Sabbath to the 4th greatest band of all time. This here is the Beatles, and this statue was unveiled in 2015. It was paid for by the Cavern Club, and it was sculpted by an artist called Andy Edwards, and we can see more of his work a little bit later on today as well. Now as we do turn this corner, directly in front of us on the right-hand side of the road, you can see the Museum of Liverpool. Now this museum tells the story of the city from 1207 through to present day. Look at the big rectangular window at the front of it. That was voted the best window in Europe in 2017, which begs the question, just exactly how boring was that award ceremony? But either way, we won the competition, so we try not to complain too much. But it's inside this museum that you can learn anything that is worth knowing about Liverpool. It's a lot of fun. There's a whole host of fun artifacts inside there, a lot of hands-on things to go and explore as well. As we head around this corner, we'll be stopping at bus stop number 2 in just a moment. Now, bus stop number 2 is the best place to hop on the bus. If you want to go to 3 races into these 3 wonderful buildings on the right. We've got the Beatles statue over there on the left, the Mersey ferry terminal over there on the left, you catch the famous ferry across the Mersey. And of course, everyone else is over to your left as well. Let's take advantage of these blisteringly hot autumnal mornings. There's a nice green van, so why not pop up the bus here and go and get yourselves a 99 for £6.99. This is bus stop number 2. But all the administration for the Liverpool docks was calculated. This was back when Liverpool was the world's busiest port in the 18 and early 1900s. 40% of the world's shipping trade passed through Liverpool, And it was all in this building just here on the right hand side. Hello to everyone who's just joined us here. My name is Gary L and our driver is the wonderful Steve. Thank you very much. Now on your left hand side we've got the Cunard building. This is the youngest of the three Graces, completed in 1917. Former headquarters of the Cunard shipping line, but today it's home to the British Music Experience, the only dedicated music museum in the UK. In this museum you will find one of the best things you will find in any museum in the country. They have a life-size 3D hologram of Boy George. You can go on stage and you can duet karaoke tracks with the Boy George hologram. And I can confirm there is nothing to do in Britain that is anywhere near as good as that. Now as we do get ready to head to the left-hand side, you may also notice the pavement on our side of the road just here is a lot wider than anywhere else in Liverpool. And the reason for that is because between 1888 and 1957, we had an overhead railway which would travel along this full 8-mile stretch of road. This overhead railway was a 24-hour line service. It was predominantly used by all of the dockers and sailors in the region. As Steve takes us to the left, look at the building at the end here on the left-hand side. Now this was the first official skyscraper of Europe. It was the tallest building on the continent from 1911 when it was completed, all the way through until 1948, when it was overtaken by a building in Rome in Italy. And its name is the Royal Liver Building. And this here is the most beautiful and iconic building in all of Merseyside, after Goodison Park. Not only that as well, this particular building at the top of it, you will see the Liver Birds, which is the emblem of our city. The Liver Bird statues are 18 feet in height, so they are taller than this bus. They have a wingspan of 25 feet, and they were designed by a German artist called Karl Bernhard Bartels. The Liver Birds are named Bella and Bertie. And also, if you take a look at the top of the Liver buildings, you'll see those giant clock faces. Now in a moment, we're going to turn left here. We'll be running parallel to the Liver building, so you'll be able to see it more clearly. The clock faces are actually the largest in Europe. They are 2.5 feet wider than those down in the Houses of Parliament, which is where Big Ben lives. Yes, Big Ben, you may have all the £80 million refurbishments you desire, but we still have bigger clock faces than you in the north. Now as we go a little bit further down this road, ahead of us on the left-hand side, there is a stone memorial with a golden flame at the top of it. This is the Titanic Memorial. I have no idea who thought it was a good idea to place the Titanic Memorial outside the entrance of the cruise terminal. Wales is where it stands. It's a bit ominous to me, but there we are. And as we follow the road around to the right, over to your left-hand side, we've got Liverpool's cruise terminal here on the left as well.
Very amazing.
30 cruise ships arriving in the city every single year. That's roughly one every 3 days. Now as we head around this corner, you'll be able to notice the Malmaison Hotel just ahead of us to the left-hand side. This Ray Hotel is a favourite of Bob Dylan's. He stays in this hotel every time he is playing anywhere from Birmingham and higher up in the north of Britain. Liverpool is his favourite British city. He spent a lot of time here in the 60s and 70s, and the site of this hotel, there was his favourite hotel in Liverpool before the Malmaison. And with him being a creature of habit, he still today stays in that hotel. He is playing in the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool this coming Sunday, so he will be staying in here later this week. So if you, like myself, are a big fan of Mr. Dillon, hang around that foyer downstairs in the lobby, and I guarantee he'll ignore you for an autograph. I've tried 4 times over the years, and I've failed 4 times, but I'll get there eventually. Now straight ahead of us, you can see a church. Not just any church, this is known as the Sailors' Church. This was the tallest building in Liverpool before the construction of the Liver buildings over to the right-hand side. Now, it's named the Sailors' Church because if you look at the top of it, you'll notice a golden ship at the top of the tower. Now, the golden ship is said to reflect the sunlight off it down to the boats on the river, and it would then help navigate the boats into the docks. That would have been useful about 4 times a year in Liverpool, but either way, it's still there to this day. Now the official title of this church is the Church of Our Lady and St. Nicholas. St. Nicholas, of course, being the patron saint of thieves, vagabonds and Christmas, so a very good chap. This is also the 5th place of worship that's been on this site since 1207. This particular church has been here since 1815. There's a wonderful statue statue in the courtyard of the church, so look out for it as we drive past it. It's 18 feet in height. It's drawn to the sense of a young child on top of a spiral staircase playing with a toy airplane, whilst his mother is down below beckoning him to come inside. Now that statue is to commemorate everyone who lived in Liverpool during the Merseyside Blitz. We were the worst-hit city in Britain after London during World War II, with over 4,000 civilian casualties. And we are still to this day, on average, finding at least 12 devices from the Liverpool Blitz every single year across various parks and different rivers, parts of the docks as well. Now, as we know, we're going to turn it down this road. In a second, we're going to turn to the left-hand side. As we turn to the left, you will see there is a building on the corner, a red and white stripy building. Now, this here is the former headquarters of White Star Shipping Line, and it was in this very building that the Titanic was designed and registered. In fact, there are 3 windows on the first floor of this hotel today. In the middle window, there is a model of the Titanic. The Titanic was designed in this building, registered to this very address on the left-hand side. That's why Liverpool was written on the stern of the ship. And it was actually spoken over in Belfast, which is in the North of Ireland. This building today is called 30 James Street Hotel, with a rich maritime history to it. Now as we take us further up this road, over to your right hand side, here you will be able to see Derby Square. This is the location of where Liverpool Castle used to stand. The Liverpool Castle was stood here up until 1725. On the site of here today, we've got the Queen Victoria Monument over on the right, and then just behind that you can see Liverpool's Crown Courts. Now the courts would charts. As we go through the lights, we're going to be stopping up on stop at Scooter 3 here in just a moment. This is the best place to head off to this. So the cabin quarters are around the corner to the left, and the number 1 shop and kitchens on the first floor balcony. Those kitchens were placed here on your left in 2017 to celebrate Pride Festival. They were only supposed to be there for 4 weeks, but they have since become a permanent resident because the owner of the hotel came to realise Dixie Dean is the only footballer to have scored 100 goals in one season. He was the George Best, the Maradona, the Pele, the Mbappe, the Alan Shearer, the Harry Kane, the Louis Dowski of the 1920s, 30s and 40s. He was Everton's famous number 9. And opposite that on the right-hand side is the Shankly Hotel, but to be honest, nobody knows what Shankly was, so let's move on. And let's never mention that name on this list. As soon as the buildings on the left finish, I want to look through the trees, and you will see a pub in the distance to your left called the Ship and Mitre. That is my second favourite pub in the city. I do have an extensively well-researched top 30 list. If you need more recommendations, come see me at the end of this class. Also on the left here, you'll see the entrance of the Queensway Tunnel. This was the world's longest underwater tunnel when it opened in 1934. 2.13 miles. It goes underneath the city and underneath the River Mersey and then arrives in the Wirral Peninsula. And it was opened in 1934 by King George V. And if you don't know who that is, it's Colbert Stad in the King's Speech. But this tunnel has featured in numerous film and TV shows over the years. It's been in things like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. It's also been in things like In the Name of the Father, Peaky Blinders, War of the Worlds, Yesterday. And it also featured in Fast and Furious 6, which is a film that could best be described as existing. We're going to head around this corner to the right-hand side in just a moment. You may also be able to notice as well a spectacular mural just over there to the left-hand side on the side of one of our big tall buildings. It's a mural by a local artist called John Culshaw and Paul Curtis. They collaborated on this together. And it's a local athlete called Katarina Johnson-Thompson, which is unbelievably fun to say out loud. Now, Katarina Johnson-Thompson is a heptathlon athlete, and she won a silver medal at the Olympics in Paris earlier this year as well. She also was in the same classes in school as John Comer as well, so what a cool class that must have been. He's got a famous actor, but also a famous athlete as well. Well, we head around this roundabout. We're going to be taking the 1, 2, I think we'll take the third exit today, please, Steve. Let's go wide. So as we turn up this road here, this is bus stop number 4. This is the best place to hop off the bus for Lime Street train station. Also the Culture Quarter as well. On your left hand side you've got the World Museum. This is the largest museum in Britain outside of London. Spanning across 5 floors is where you go to learn all about natural history, time and space, and different dinosaurs. Now the World Museum on your left hand side is where 5 years ago we had 10 Chinese terracotta